Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently time warping into the Eve system. There's Eve right there, fantastic. Let's load on into the zone of influence. There we go. And this burn is going to be commencing in about 1 minute. Fantastic. Now our level of Delta V left is not hugely high, but it doesn't need to be. This should be sufficient. So we're going to go ahead and prepare for this burn. 40 seconds, 30, 20, 10, and 5. There we go. Commencing burn now. Beautiful. So we're going to burn out this whole tank, and then we'll start to use this tank, which is of course intended to be used only within the Eve system. So this is absolutely perfect. We're going to go ahead and physics warp here for a bit, since this is a fairly lengthy burn. There we go. I'm going to come out of Physics Warp now that we're going to detach this in a moment. And I've got this set up all correctly now. I hope. Okay, yes. Fantastic. So I got that set up correctly. It allowed me to move these around after I restarted the game, so that's no major problem. Cool. So we're just going to Physics Warp the last... Ooh, I don't like the amount of wiggle we've got going on there with Physics Warp. Okay, we're just going to chill here, and we're going to burn this the old-fashioned way. If we need to, we'll just cut the video, and that'll be fine. But for this particular burn, I'm not too concerned about that. So we'll be entering orbit around Eve very shortly here. Very shortly indeed. Of course, we're going to have to match inclination with Gilly, but that should be fine. In theory. If we have to send more fuel out here, we can, but I don't think that that'll be necessary. Okay. And of course, this fuel just has to land us on Gilly. Once we're there, we can make more fuel. So that'll be absolutely fine. And let's bring this on down here. Just encapsulating this orbit a bit. Something along the lines of... Well, not that. We're in orbit now. But there we go. That'll do. It's not a perfect encapsulation, but it'll be fine for now. So 9.9 degrees inclination, huh? Okay, we'll need to toss in a bit of retrograde. Let's see if we can manage to pull off what we did before and combine this and our transfer burn. That would be amazing. I'm not so sure that we actually can. The timing is definitely non-perfect. Okay. So instead, we're going to get rid of this retrograde that's in here, and we're just going to match that inclination. So... bringing this around like... not quite that. There, that'll do. Okay, cool. So then we're just going to need to get our timing correct, right? It's not a perfect encapsulation, but it'll do. So we'll just prepare for that burn by heading on over here. There we go. And let's commence this warp. And this inclination change will be about a 30-second burn. We've got quite a lot of fuel left, in theory, for this, so no major problems there. This is, of course, Gilly that we're talking about, so nothing too major in terms of Delta V required to land. 3, 2, 1, and mark. Excellent. So let's change the inclination of this orbit here. I don't really love pushing out our apoapsis like this, but it's fine. Cool. So about 20 more seconds left on this inclination change. We're not going to need to inclination change back to Eve. In theory. The real question with Eve is, do we land on land? And that's going to be interesting, for sure. So 2, 1, and... this is probably good enough. Not quite, actually. It's incredibly close. There, that'll be good enough. There was a rounding error there, it looked like. So, now we need to look at what would happen if we looked for an encounter. Sometime over here would be really awkward. Ideally, would be an encounter from this apoapsis. right around this periapsis. So what if we were to... That's all very awkward. No doubt about that. Okay, I don't want to do this after... Okay, yeah, that's fine. So we'll just have to look for it sometime over here, I guess. It's not perfect, but it'll do. 62.5 to get an encounter. That's fine. I'm not too concerned about that, and we don't really care where this encounter is. This encounter will be more than good enough. So that'll be fine, and we will align for that burn. Cool. And we'll warp on forward here. 16-second burn, so that's really not too bad. And this will put us over Gilly space. So our thrust to weight is going to be way, way higher over Gilly, of course. And we're going to be refueling on Gilly, so we're not concerned about that. As long as we've got enough to land, that's what we are concerned about. And of course, we'll need to extend these landing wheels eventually. But apparently we can't do that while warping, which is fine. Cool. So we've got about 15 days left in this warp. This warp is feeling like it's taking forever. Wow, okay. It kind of is taking forever, actually. 10 days left in the warp here. 8 more days. And now 7. Yeah, that's a slow warp, all right. Okay. Definitely would have been better if we had been able to go up to the full amount of time, but it's fine. We'll handle it. No big deal. 3 more hours, and we're basically ready for this warp as of now. We'll wait an extra minute here, but that's okay. Where is Eve right now? There's Eve. Hi, Eve. Cool. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and mark. There we go. And only about another 10 seconds left in this burn. Cool. 3, 2, 1, and that's probably close to good enough. Honestly, that's really, really tight in there. Let's take that up to about 15 kilometers. There we go. And that's better of an encounter. I like it. So we'll just circularize here. That will, of course, take very little delta V to do. Bringing it in something like this. This is, of course, a temporary quote-unquote colony. And we'll just circularize like that. And then we'll land on Gilly. That'll probably be about the end of the episode, and then once we're landed on Gilly, we'll be able to use our mining excavators and our ISRU in order to refuel. So that'll be great. And that'll give us enough fuel to land on Eve, although probably not with any semblance of precision. Hopefully we land on land, but I don't think we technically need to land on land, do we? Surface deployed seismic sensor science, plant flag on Eve. It would be for the best. Although this needs us to splash down on Eve and make ground contact. So we might have to send something to splash down on Eve at some point. But let's go ahead and warp for this burn here. And Gilly will be, in theory, like this way-ish, I think. I don't know what direction Gilly's coming from, to be quite honest. It's around somewhere. There it is. Hi, Gilly. Cool. So we're lining up for this retrograde burn. And let's go ahead and warp. 40 seconds to go. And let's commence this burn now. Beautiful. So we're in orbit over Gilly. And we can see our orbital velocity is very, very low. No shockers there. Our periapsis is a little lower. We overshot slightly. But ultimately, I think it's reasonably fine. Now, where do we want to set down? Somewhere on the day side. It doesn't really matter. We're not going to be staying there for too long. But this, like, flat area over here looks pretty decent to me. So we do something kind of like this. Cool. Let's prepare for that burn. That's only a 4-second burn. Okay, and let's warp over to it. Hopefully that's an actually flat area. And of course, we're going to need to extend our telescoping hydraulic cylinders and turn our brakes on. So that is also something that we should remember to do. We're also probably going to need to uncouple this, but the question is, at what point do we do that? Do we do that now? It might flop around if we do it now. I think we're going to avoid that for the moment. We're going to extend out our wheels. That's not as low as I was hoping they would be, I'll be honest. Okay. We may need to lower our wheels here a little bit. Noted. Let's go ahead and commence this landing burn here in about 30 seconds. For some reason, I thought that these were low enough to reach, but that must have been an earlier iteration. We can always lower them. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and mark. Cool. Okay, how's that? Looks like we've got plenty of time. Okay, so we'll have Palo EVA here. And we're just going to hop down over this way. We need to lower these landing legs. Okay, we're just going to park about here. Right. We can't just grab this and lower them. Yeah, that's going to be exciting. Well, it's got to be done. So I'm just going to attach this here for now, and then this here. We'll have to, like... Stop it, Palo. Stop it. Just sit here. There you go. We're going to move this guy down to here. No animation like that, please. Thank you. And now we're going to hop in over this way. I wish there was something we could grab onto. Actually, there probably is. We could probably grab onto this out here. And still reach, I think. This is much more stable. Okay. So let's grab that, and we would like to attach this right there. Cool. And then we attach this guy down here. That isn't exactly what we want. And this reach is still not super good, is it? We're going to have to do this on all 4 sides. Which is certainly awkward. So it would be something approximately like this, right? I'm having a different idea, actually. And that idea is that we attach this instead off over here. Can we reach that? Looks like not quite. But that's fine. We could put this guy over here. And then simply put the wheel right there. Then we let go. And RCS on, please. Thank you. We hop up over this direction. Okay. Something kind of like this. We attach this guy here. Like that. Then we grab the wheel. Oh, we're going to need the octagonal strut, aren't we? Okay, let's go grab that quick. So we're going to hop over here. Slot that octagonal strut right there. Okay, and back off over this way. Cool. Approximately like this. And just positioning this guy, not actually like that. We need to turn this guy around. There we go. So I'd like this to reach a little bit further, right? But I think... No, the hinge is over here. It needs to be on this side. That might still count. Hopefully that counts. If it doesn't, we'll make further modifications on the ground. So let's go back in here. Okay. We'll go back in here and we will unextend this guy. Beautiful. And all of these guys should be unextended. There we go. Awkwardness may ensue there, but it'll be fine. We're going to go over to surface velocity. There we go. And we're going to need to bring this thing on in for a really awkward landing. Actually, at this point, we definitely should have Palo hop out and detach this for stability reasons. We can also detach on the other side over here. We can reattach that if we need to, and we'll need to before we enter Eve. Okay, cool. So those are detached temporarily. The idea behind that is we are going to use these as like landing legs, right? Functionally. So let's go ahead and hop over to retrograde. There we go. Checking our thrust to weight. 79.84. Hilarious. And let's go ahead and warp forward here. Hopefully, we're not going to be in too awkward of a position here. We need to be in surface retrograde. And it looks like we're coming down reasonably centrally on this flat point. I like it. So we're going to warp forward a little bit. 8 minutes on that countdown there. Noted. Okay. Let's see what it is now. 6.5. Got it. So we're going to warp forward a little bit here. That's about another minute. So now it should be about 2.5 minutes. So this should be down to about 4 minutes. Yes. Fantastic. So once this is at about 10 minutes, we know that that's when our burn would begin. So we're going to stop it at about 9. Oh, actually, we can't time warp anymore. We're too low now. And yeah, we can see there's a little bit of wiggling around going on here. We don't necessarily love the amount of wiggling going on there. Although, it's strutted down here. No, that's strutted to not this. That's strutted to the modular girder segment. That's right. Okay, so let's continue to... Actually, let's start a very, very gentle deceleration. And see how much wiggle we pick up. Noted. I'm going to retract our solar panels here just to be on the safe side. We should have plenty of power. How much power do we have? Yeah, we've got more than enough. Cool. So we can now physics warp a little bit. 2 minutes. Okay, it's 2 minutes now. There we go. We're physics warping on down. 1:45. 1 minute and 30 seconds. One minute. Okay, I'm going to come out of physics warp here, and we're going to do a very, very small braking burn. Very small. Note that this countdown is still counting down. That's fine. We just want to break this a little bit. We don't want to have any parts exploding, after all. Okay. 12.6 meters per second. Cool. Yep, this is looking absolutely fine for the moment. About 30 seconds left on our burn countdown. Throttling this up ever so slightly. And we're mostly ignoring this, for the record. I'm doing this by gut here. So, we're just bringing this on down. I want to be under 5 meters per second right now. Cool. And we're just continuing to very gently burn our way down. 4 meters per second. I'm cutting our throttle a tiny, tiny bit here. And we're still coming down. Okay. 3 meters per second. Bringing it up. And cutting it back down soon. Okay. This is about 1 meter per second. I don't necessarily love this position, but I guess it's fine. Okay, that's exciting. Okay. So we're bouncing here. I'm wondering right now why I'm not able to... Whoa, okay. This traverse rate is way too high. Let's bring that down to like 10. Okay. This one's working fine. So let's put this at somewhere like here. 98 degrees. Okay. Let's change this traverse rate down as well to like 10. Cool. And actually, this should definitely be extended out a little bit. Very gently. We don't want to destroy this heat shield. Okay. Cool. Now we will bring this target angle down as well to a similar 90-ish degree. Okay, I feel like that's actually too much and is pushing us up. No, other way, other way, other way. There we go. So this one is at 98 degrees. This one's at 96. That should be reasonably fine. Okay. So now we need to let this settle on down. I want to extend this guy out a little bit here. Yeah, we're able to actually push off of the ground with these telescoping hydraulic cylinders. It's very awkward, for sure. Next time we push off the ground... Well, actually, are we just sliding right now? I think we're pretty much just sliding, and we're not going to go too far. So that looks reasonable. We're going to rotate this to be at 0. And hope that this has the range. If not, we can move it. And then this guy will be rotated as well. Yeah, no ground contact. I'm aware of that. I'm trying to rotate this. There we go. Cool. Going to extend this solar panel so that we have some power generation. And we're going to extend this radiator as well as this one. Cannot deploy while stowed. What? I'm not sure what's going on with that. We may have to, like, replace that? I'm not sure. We're currently drifting downhill a little bit here, but the question is, does this have reach? That's a hard maybe. Okay, so we have no extension over here. We could potentially push this down a little bit. I want to turn the torque limit down to like 1% here and here as well. And then just try to bring this angle down to be like 90. Okay. Does this one have any contact? Because it might be a little bit different on this side. It actually does. Shockingly, this one has contact. This one does not. Wait. It does. They have ground contact. Beautiful. So we're filling up our ore right now. Now, we need to have 5,000 units of ore in our outpost, and we need to be on motorized wheels, right? So step one is getting the ore. Step 2 is being on motorized wheels. We can get the ore simultaneously, but it is about time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, actually, are we losing power right now? No, that's looking good. Okay, so next episode, we're going to satisfy that be on electric wheels, or rather on motorized wheels requirement. That'll be a next episode sort of thing, unless we can simply do this. I don't think that reaches, though. I actually think that is on the ground. Sadly, it doesn't count as being on motorized wheels. So we'll have to experiment with what that actually entails. Because we do have these motorized wheels here, and it's just not counting it for right now. We'll see what that ends up looking like, but we'll turn our brake on. And we may actually end up increasing our... Actually, this is at 2.4. Okay, so this is at full extension. Noted. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to fill up our ore tanks and then convert that ore all over into fuel, jettison the ore, because we're not going to need it, and head off for Eve. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Kazaral, ALS Gamer, Kentuin, James, Shadowwolf, Mlohan80, Kentogan, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Unisil, Kadra, Rogue Corvid, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video. And as always, I will see you all next time.